teacher and a member of the Portland Community College Federation of Faculty and Academic Professionals, and we are here today to support DCTU! District Council Trade Unions is, of course, AFSCME Local 189, IVW Local 48, Machinists District Lodge W24, Painters District Council 5, Operating Engineers Local 701, and UA Local 290. That is a lot of workers who are thinking about going on strike. There's something wrong with City Council. Why aren't the people who make our city run being given a living wage? How is it that the people who keep us in civilization, keep our world from crumbling, can't even afford to live in the city they work for? We are here to support the unions, to tell City Council that this is not their city. This is our city. People of Portland are with the unions. It is not acceptable to refuse to treat the unions with the respect they deserve. They need a contract. And so we're here to say that we are union strong and union proud. Everybody say it loud. Union strong, union proud. Everybody say it loud. Union strong, union proud. I'd like to hand it over to our ministers that are with us today for an invocation. Cecil Prescott and Rochelle Dixon from the Jobs, Justice, Faith, and Labor Committee.
I guess some of us are old enough to remember the song. Do you know the song? You know the song I'm talking about, the union song. Everybody knows the song, right? Which song that came on television in the 1970s, which taught us all about unions and the benefit of unions. You remember? Look for the union label. Some of you are too young to remember that. But that was a song that united us. It told us that the unions built the middle class. And now, everywhere, they're tearing unions down. And in a city like Portland, which bills itself as progressive, I cannot understand for the life of me why we aren't supporting the workers who supported us this whole pandemic. We, as citizens, deserve to have essential workers here in an emergency, not have to come from Vancouver, not have to come from Hillsborough, right here where we need you. Fairness is what we're asking for. Fairness is what you deserve. Fairness for your work and your labor, not wage theft. And this is what they're trying to pull off. Not one step back. Not one step back. Not one step back. Not one step back. Not one step back.
Thank you so much. In a little more than a week, the city leaders will join the nations to commemorate the life and legacy of Martin King. I hope that in all the ceremonies that they and we remember Dr. King's commitment to workers. Indeed, he died in Memphis while supporting low-paid sanitation workers, trying to get the city to recognize their union. The words of Dr. King said to those workers are relevant to our struggle today. He said, and I affirm, you are demanding that this city will respect the dignity of labor. The struggle for justice continues here today, just as our spiritual siblings, Amos, Esther, Isaiah, Sojourner Truth, Mahatma Gandhi, Emma Goldman, Mother Jones, Velma Hopkins, Cesar Chavez, and Martin King pointed to your intentions. Make us people whose light shines on your new creation. Solidarity forever.
When city workers are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When city workers are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
I'd like to welcome to the stage some of the workers from DCTU that make our city run, the rank and file militants, the heroes of today. We're going to start with Jeanette De Castro from Peabody.
Hello, thank you for being here. It fills my heart. Thank you. Solidarity forever. My colleagues and I have been working since the pandemic started. And so what I'd like to do is actually read from a few letters that we sent to our commissioners and our directors. Unfortunately, it didn't stop us from ending up here at impasse. They need to hear that we need a fair contract. This letter is on behalf of the public works inspectors with the Portland Bureau of Transportation. Because of us, contractors, large and small, can continue to work with the confidence that they'd be paid and maintain their schedules. Utilities could continue to make repairs and improvements to keep the city's power and information infrastructure in order. Private developers could continue to build houses and commercial projects. Regulatory compliance was ensured. We can continue to meet our obligations for ADA accessible ramps. Capital improvement projects could continue to move forward, meeting ODOT and FHWA requirements. Because inspectors worked with contractors, we made sure that the community's impacts were lessened and that accessibility was maintained for our communities. And street lighting, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Bargaining has been a drawn-out process beginning on January 23rd, 2020. When bargaining was paused, a contract extension was agreed upon, and our COLA was delayed for 6 months. Electricians continued to work in the field, assisting construction projects, responding to emergency situations, maintaining over $901 million worth of assets with an understaffed department. While continuing to work in the field, our essential pay was challenged from their position of safety. Clean restrooms were nowhere to be found, and maps that detailed where those were usually resulted in closed or filthy or unsafe restrooms. Electricians have experienced assaults, have been in the middle of street fights, have been harassed, and have had items thrown at them. I'll move on to PBOT parking code enforcement. For the better part of 2 years, we have come to work. This is no longer about finances or a pandemic or a reckoning of social justice. This is blatant disrespect for each and every worker who has put themselves, their families, and their livelihoods at risk by coming to work every day. Refusing to come to a fair agreement that we should have been afforded months ago flies in the face of the city's so-called equity lens. We demand fairness and equity, and we demand it now.
DCTU workers are joining us today. Alex Piero, also from PBOT, and Chris Flannery. Alex and Chris.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out today, first and foremost, and supporting us in our struggle for a fair contract, supporting us in our struggle for fair wages and recognition as workers, standing up and demanding the respect that we deserve as people. It's really solidarity actions like this that illustrate the common threads and the ties that bind between all of us in our individual, sort of particular struggles that we may be engaged in depending on, where we work and our living conditions, etc. But there are certain things that unite us all, so hopefully we can illustrate some of those things today. I'd like to begin just talking a little bit about what it's been like to be a city worker, working for the city of Portland during the pandemic. So early on, it's in what I like to call the hero phase of the pandemic, right? I know that we're all back to, low-skilled workers now, but early on we were heroes. It's work that truly is essential in society. We were called that, and we got every platitude in the book, up until the moment, of course, that the city realized they had to pay us as essential workers. We have specific language in our contract around essential worker pay. Suddenly we were so essential. We were no longer essential. Continuous reporters, right? Anything that the city could do to avoid saying the word essential to pay us what we deserve for doing the work. The city of Portland thinks that by changing the name of a thing, you can change the nature of the thing itself. We know this is not true. Together, we fought that as a union. We took that all the way to arbitration, and we won. We won that fight. We won the right to retain that language in our contract. We won the right, to be paid as essential workers, performing the essential work that we perform. We have been in contract negotiations for 20 months at this point. And early on, we made a lot of sacrifices. We continue to make sacrifices, but especially in the beginning, when we didn't know what the situation was going to be with COVID, we didn't know where the world was going. No one had any idea. We voted a 6-month extension on our contract, and that was a sacrifice. We allowed our COLA at a 6-month extension to put off getting our cost of living adjustment, which was scheduled. That was a sacrifice we made. We took furlough days for months. That was a sacrifice we made. There was a hiring freeze for a long time. If someone quit, we know that we've established the work is essential, even though we're not essential. The work is essential. The work needs to be done. So now people quit and they can't hire anyone to fill the place. So you're forced to absorb the work that previously, you were doing with a full work group. So our roles and responsibilities, things just kept growing and growing. And the whole time we're saying, like, okay, we're in bargaining. Like, our bargaining team's up there working hard. They're doing their thing. All of a sudden we see the federal money start rolling in. Surely there's got to be something in there for labor, right? Nothing. $62 million budget surplus just last year. It's like pocket change from the couch for them, And so it left a lot of us asking, what is it really going to take? What's it going to take to get a fair contract? What is it going to take to get the respect? What is it going to take? The power the bargaining team has comes from the 1,200 members of the DCTU standing united behind them and saying, we demand a fair contract. Our power comes from the other unions and the other non-represented workers and, political organizations, social organizations, community members like everybody out here today, standing beside us and fighting saying we demand respect as workers and as people. Solidarity. Together we fight, together we win.
My name is Chris Flannery. I'm the organizer for Ask. So I started with the City of Portland back in 2013. I was a naive 25 years old. It was a wonderful experience, my very, very first union job. I was amazed by the benefits, amazed by the protections of my contract. I moved here from a right-to-work state, South Kakalaki, and when I came here, I was just, again, floored by how wonderful it is to be a worker in the City of Portland. In the years since, I have watched my retirement system come under attack. I have watched the workload at my bureau, the Portland Housing Bureau, increase year over year without a commensurate increase in staff. I have watched my coworkers leave, especially my coworkers of color, as their concerns were not addressed by management. In the city that I work, I deserve to make a living wage. The DSA, just amazing. I have never seen somebody pull together something like this in a week and a half. We are going back to mediation is the term. And I want to make sure that everybody on the HR management council side of the table realizes how serious we are and sees all the support that we have in the city that we serve. Thank you.
Hell yeah!
If they strike, shut it down. Portland is a union town. Strike!
Shut it down!
Portland is a union town. Strike!
Shut it down!
Portland is a union town. With that, I'd like to welcome DCTU President Rob Martineau.
This is an amazing time. This is an amazing place to be. It's an amazing place to work. And I want to start with some gratitude. I am grateful for the ability for the last 22 years to provide for my family. All of us have that gift to be able to work, to contribute, to build our communities while taking care of those we love while we do it. For our families, let's just have some gratitude. It's easy to fight. It's easy to fight. It's easy to strike. All you do is say no until you get there. That's not what we want. It may be what we're forced to do.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, contracts are about respect, and that's what we're here to talk about today, is the respect of every working family. It's City Council's move. They need to prioritize their workforce. They seem to have not recognized the cost of a skilled, competent workforce. That is what we deliver every single day in pandemic, in times of uncertainty, in social unrest. While we stand up for ourselves, we stand up for all Portlanders. As a member of a union, we have the ability to negotiate every few years on our wages, hours, and working conditions. And there always seems to be a reason why the answer is no. Well, the time for no is over. Now is the time we stand up for ourselves. We stand up for Portland, and we continue to provide all of the critical services that Portland needs. That's clean water, that's sanitary sewer systems, that's a transportation system that works. That's all of the many, many benefits in buildings and development. There's so many things that the DCTU workers affect every day. And that's why we stand and are asking our members to authorize the bargaining team to declare a strike.
City of Portland, you're no good. Treat your workers like you should. City of Portland, you're no good. Treat your workers like you should. City of Portland, you're no good. Treat your workers like you should. Many of us are here today because we are union members, and we have been in this situation, and it is not pretty. And some of us have had to take the step to go out on strike. And I want to hear from Donna Jo Marks, workplace leader in the Nabisco strike of BCTGM 364. Donna Jo.
So, we went on strike for 40 days. And it was a decision. We were like you guys. We kept on giving and giving and giving, and for 4 years we were without a contract. Then we settled for this rinky-dink contract for a year, thinking if we agreed because of COVID that they would, honor us because we showed up to work, we made them billions, we did the right thing. But no, when the year contract came up, they wanted more. They wanted to take more and more and more. So we walked. And it was a lonely walk. We walked out first by ourselves. And we ended up winning, but we didn't win by ourselves. We won because of the other communities, because of the community and the other unions that supported us. We all realized we had the same story, which is corporate greed. At the end of the day, they're greedy. They make promises, they break promises. It's like an abusive relationship. We keep going back on promises. You gotta stay strong. You gotta understand they're gonna come hard, but you guys stay out there. There were times we got lonely. We just didn't know what was gonna happen. But when other unions showed up to support us, we had teachers, we had Teamsters, that we need to be an army and not fight individually. We won because of the army, not because we stood alone. But you have to strike. You have to do what you have to do to get what you deserve. Because even if they call you to the table, it's going to be a bunch of lies. It's going to be the same contract. You think you're going to get something different. It's disheartening to see a place that you've given your life to treat you like you're nothing. The guy said earlier, he was a hero. He was considered an essential worker. He was a hero until they had to pay that money. Until they had to continue to pay that money. We're nothing to them but just another number. But to the city of Portland, we keep it running. You guys keep it running. You're more than a number. So, as a member of BCTGM, I understand the importance of standing in solidarity with other unions. And BCTGM supports the city of Portland in whatever decision you make. If you strike, we understand. We're there. We're right with you. Stay strong. Don't let them win. Don't give up. Don't get scared. Because there's going to be a point where they're going to try to starve you out. But the power is the people. We have the power. They don't.
For the working class army that wins. Not all of us here work for the city, but we support the city workers. Same struggle, same fight. Workers of the world unite.
Same struggle, same fight. Workers of the world unite. Same struggle, same fight. Workers of the world unite.
Union worker supporting DCTU out here today is Scott Oldham, painter from IUPAT. Scott, where are you at?
For the painters of Local 10, we were established back in 1899. And I think the first thing we want to recognize is that the politicians in this building here, they come and they go, and the laborers, the people who run this city have been here and they will always be here. I just want to say one more thing is that we need to recognize that the community out here, let's recognize them as an essential community. We've talked about essential workers, but essential community is what we're really talking about here today. The shipyards. I heard you just mentioned the shipyards, and we were down there. Of course, we were down there. As president of the metal trades, I can say that our negotiations are going poorly as well. We've gone past our November 30th date as well. 35 cents. I think they've offered us a 1%. We're seeing the same thing all over town. Everywhere we go, we're seeing the same thing. So the painters, of course, we're 100% in this. Whatever we need to do, we're there. So with that, I just want to give a round of applause for all the essential community members. Thank you.
Just curious, how many of you got a 6.8% raise this year? Well, then you got a pay cut. We all got pay cuts this year. And that's one of the things DCTU is fighting for. Scott just said, oh, they got 1%. My union, same thing, 2.5%. DCTU got offered 1.6. What the hell is that, 1.6? How do you feel about that? No, not acceptable. Another worker we're coming out here today to support is Richard Beadle from the laborers. Richard, where are you at?
Well, I'm real proud of the fact you're here. I kind of understand your frustrations, even though I might not understand all your issues. I stand 100% behind your strike action if you have to take one. Now, who I am is I'm a 30-year employee of the city of Portland, so I kind of understand the frustration. I've bargained many contracts with the city, and they always say the same thing. They're real proud of the fact that they pay market wages. They do these class comp comparisons, and they go out and they compare, and they always say, we don't want to put you at the top. We're not going to be a market leader, but we're not going to be a market lagger. We're going to be in the middle of the pack.
They compare the
Well, that kind of mediocrity is not what the city's all about. The city's all about excellence, and we need to have it reflected in the wages. Now, I got news for the city. The market has changed. In the last 6 months, the market has changed. The relationship has changed. And if it's not reflected in the bargaining, the city is in for some real problems. So they need to actually reflect what's going on in the city today and make sure the wages reflect. If they lose this workforce because of their cheapness and their lack of response, it'll be on their shoulders. So good luck. I'm with you 100%. I'll support you 100%.
The workers out here today, we got city workers, we got nurses, we got painters, we got teamsters, and we have teachers. And we have Gwen Sullivan of the Portland Association of Teachers out here to talk to us today. Gwen.
You know, it's one of those things, I'm so excited to see you all. I think the last time that I have been in this position, we were over there having another rally because the city was trying to do some contracting out. Boy, those bosses in the city can't just let go of bad behavior. And of course, in Portland Public Schools, we end up hiring your HR people, as many of you know. But my name is Gwen Sullivan. I'm the Vice President of Portland Association of Teachers. I just want to say what is so important that we are all collectively in this together is, as a lifelong Portlander, I've lived here my whole life, and I look at all of our city workers, all of the workers out there in general, I just think it's the gratitude. Thank you. Whatever it is, it's our city workers that have been there for every step of taking care of the people, the Portlanders that live here. What the city is doing right now, I mean, it's like, it's a playbook. But don't fall into that trap. Just know that this community has your back. When they offer things that are less than a cost of living, it is completely a pay cut. What else are they going to take away from your family? I just want to say, the fact that we are in this pandemic has caused so much anxiety for so many people. And for them to do this at this time, that's disgraceful. It is so disgraceful. So one of the comrades that was talking earlier, she said, not one step back. Not one step back. Do not give up.
Do not give up.
Not one step back.
Not one step back.
Do not give up.
Do not give up.
The last thing I want to say is that we are all intertwined. Nobody is in isolation here. And so we have to do more to keep our labor brothers and sisters, our comrades together, so when things happen, that it happens not just to one, but to all. So just know that Portland teachers, we have your back. And any other worker that's dealing with any other issues, we have your back. But I just want to say, for all the people that have been there, all the groups that have been there for us, thank you for supporting us, and we support you.
Who's got the power?
We got the power.
What kind of power?
Union power.
Who's got the power?
We got the power.
What kind of power?
Union power.
Woo! And to finish out, I'd like to hear from someone who's been in this struggle for longer than many of us have been alive, and that is Tina Turner-Morfitt, member of AFSCME, Council 75, and president of the Council of Black Trade Unionists. Tina.
Brothers and sisters, when I look out and I see all the signs today, this is my most favorite sign, okay? This is the reason I drove from Salem in order to be here today to remind you that you are not alone. So I've been where you're at. I've been in the labor movement for over 40 years. I've gone through my period of trying to remind the employer that we are the ones that make their organizations work. It saddens me that here it is, in 2022, we're still fighting the same old issues. And so nothing makes my heart happier than to see solidarity in action. But what I want you to know, when you go to bed tonight, when you go home and you talk to your neighbors about what's happening today, and they ask you, what does solidarity look like? You tell them, this is what solidarity looks like.
City Council wants to believe that no one's paying attention to what's going on with DCTU. That we're just frazzled by Omicron and we just don't even know what's going on and we're too distracted with all these things in our life. No, we are paying attention. We are looking. We are looking out for DCTU and we are ready to fight. We work for the city day and night. Are we ready to fight? Damn right! We work for the city day and night. Are we ready to fight? Damn right! We work for the city day and night. Are we ready